Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm tempted to drag this thing into the garage and throw a motor into it, because now I got 3 diesel motors that will fit this. Two of the what are they, 482s, and one 722. The 482s are 2-cylinder, 722s are 3-cylinder, but the 3-cylinder is untested, where I got two good 2-cylinders. Now, that's only 13 horsepower, where this guy originally had 22 horsepower. So it would be lacking. But with a small turbo, would it? Yeah, it still would be. But this is designed for cutting, super thick grass at high speeds. Well, technically, I don't need to cut at high speeds. And, most of the time when I cut my grass, it's not very tall, except for sometimes. So a 2-cylinder engine might actually do fine. And technically, if I do it right, I can make it a direct exchange for a 3-cylinder by where I do my mounts and bolts and everything. The reason why I'm thinking of doing that again is I got two good 2-cylinder engines. Where the 3-cylinder, I'm pretty sure it needs a rebuild, but maybe not. Do I get off my ass and drag this in? The problem that I have with it is all the tires are garbage. Those are not cheap tires. This one's fluid filled and cracking. The valve stem actually rotted out on it when I tried to add some air to it. The only tire that actually holds air is the one on that side. Every other one's flat and dirty old bead leaks, and tires are just garbage. So I'm looking at probably 700 minimum for tires. All the hoses are blowing out underneath it. What I mean by that is this is the suction lines that are blowing out. Low pressure suction. So I'm thinking, okay, well, those don't blow out normally from sitting. Well, I guess they somewhat do. That's $7 a foot for 3/4 inch. 1-inch hose, I think, is like $8 a foot or something like that. The problem is, if all those hoses are cracked, in my opinion, does that mean there is water in the hydraulic fluid? Really hard to say. Hydraulic system, I could technically test by hooking up a random motor just to spin it and see if I get any kind of, forward and reverse motion out of it. This guy was powering the steering wheels, not more, because that's leaking. I got it kind of capped off underneath. So it's a hassle to move it, and I paid $500 for it, and I got the 722 engine with it, but the guy had no idea what shape it was in, and it wasn't actually at the same location as this, so it's not like someone bought it as a replacement. The original engine on this guy is missing the cylinder head and has a hole in the piston. So that's why, in my opinion, it went out of service. Now, I do have the mower deck for it, which is pretty rotten, but it could definitely be salvaged. So there's the mower deck there, pretty rotten, but it does turn. It was all originally seized up when I got it, but I got it all kind of moving. The belt cover on one side was completely almost missing because of how bad it rusted. So that's the only attachment, but with these guys, you could get snowblower attachments for it, all kinds of cool stuff, and the best of all, it's 4-wheel drive. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. Has auxiliary hydraulics on the front. But ideally, I kind of want to make a snowplow out of it. I kind of want to put more aggressive tires on it and kind of use it just for plowing snow. Yeah, I could use a quad for that. I mean, I got quads, I got other tractors. This one here I originally bought to fix up to cut the grass at the local community center, and so far in a year and a half of running the community center, I only had to cut the grass once, and that was just last month with that guy. So there is other people that are doing it, but this would be ideal. Now again, the 2-cylinder would technically be too small, but I still might end up using it. So I got to decide what I want to do with this guy. Cosmetically, there's a lot of blems on it, stuff falling apart on it. This guy needs to be polished. It does have low hours on it technically, and the underside of it actually looks to be pretty decent everywhere. Don't know if the brakes work, never really got that far. And I got the rad, I got pretty much everything I need to put it together. The only problem that I'm going to have and run into is the tires, because front ones hold air, or were holding air for not very long whatsoever. Well, of course it needs a seat too. And the other thing I was thinking of turning this guy into is a forklift. An off-road forklift would be pretty handy, because as of right now, if I want to move this guy, I can't use the quad. I literally have to be able to pick up the rear end to be able to steer it. So the only thing that can do that properly is the loader. And even that has trouble. And a little Sears loader, and this guy, even with no motor, is pretty freaking heavy. But the little baby Sears loader over here seems to do it pretty well. And I mean, so this guy's running a 6 horsepower diesel, and I had mower decks on it, snow blowers on it, and it seemed to do well, just, you know, a little bit low speed. So this machine is a much bigger machine, and a 12 horse diesel would probably end up being okay, but I still got to decide. Again, it needs to be gone through. It hasn't ran in the last 20 years. It's just been sitting with a blown up motor. And as for the engine swap, I just pulled the hood off it. It should be pretty straightforward, because there's one little shaft right there at the back that the engine connects to. Now again, every one of these lines is leaking. All the hard lines are leaking, and you can see it right there. You see that line, how it's split? And again, in my opinion, if that's leaking everywhere, there's probably water in the hydraulic fluid. This is where a cooler goes on it here, between these guys. Right now I just got a dirty old glove over those, and checking if there's any bee nestings in it. But I might move it, even if I don't work on it. I think I got the tank just loose on here. Yeah, that's just loose. You can see engine mounts between those guys and between these guys. So a little 3-cylinder would fit in there perfectly fine, but a 2-cylinder would probably fit even better. The drive shafts that go to the pump, or here, were originally seized up, and here's these other lines here. You guys see the cracks on those lines? Look at that, hey? Again, the line is literally shattered everywhere. When I bought it, these were open, and kind of guessing that the hydraulic fluid got water in it. So when I go to drain that, who knows what kind of damage happened. The pump itself, I might be able to just rig up something with a cordless drill, possibly, just to see if the pump's actually going to function. One other thing I should mention is I also have a Subaru 28 horsepower fuel injected gasoline engine that would actually bolt in here pretty nice if I want to go to gas. But to be honest, I kind of like diesel, and I think it'd be kind of a shame to convert this to gasoline. But 28 horsepower fuel injection means this guy would probably start in cold weather, so if I'm going to use it for plowing, that might be a bonus. But a diesel engine, I can just have a block heater on it, magnetic oil pan heater, and it should have no problem starting in cold weather. Huh, well, this sucks. I just noticed my tree never came back this year. Yeah, that was a tree growing last year with leaves on it. Huh, I guess it never rained enough this year. I do got a new seat that'll fit this already, so that's not a big deal. Well, these China zappers have been working pretty good, but this one's developing a bubble on the solar panel there. But something's still alive in it. Without the solar panel, it turns itself on. So a few things got zapped that are touching it, but so far it has been working good and killing a lot of stuff. So I guess that guy is not quite in there enough to zap, and it's kind of dirty, so I'll probably need to wash it out, I guess. I don't know how waterproof it is, but you know, we'd have to wait and see. Well, this guy hasn't been running in... You gonna go for a ride with me? You better get out of there. This guy hasn't been running in a while. You guys see that? Yeah, that's not a rock. That's a frog. I'm sure he'll run when I start it, but again, this guy hasn't been running in a while. And it's like Attack of the Killer Frogs. Well, maybe not so much killers, but see how well they run. Always watch out I don't smash my hand on that. Okay, now that the frog's not there, I can stand in a bucket like I normally do. Have the throttle turned down. Normally I have the throttle up a little bit higher for starting, but now the question is that other one going to move? Oh yeah, it's gone somewhere. I don't know where it's gone, but it's out of there. I hate stepping on those damn things. They kind of give you a weird feeling. I'm going to use this to drag that machine out. Well, yeah, this guy is definitely heavy, and trying to lift it at the back here makes the tires spin pretty good. So I'm able to lift it, drag it, drop it, but I can't directly pull it. Not without more counterweight on the Sears anyway. But yeah, the front wheels are starting to spin proper, but if these wheels weren't turning, it would be a lot easier. But technically, they are turning the direction. I got to pull it in this way. So it's definitely heavy, that's for sure. Okay, well, digging a little bit of a trench here. I can't directly pull it because I lose traction, but what I've been doing, go to the end of the rope, hold the brakes, and lift. And then back up. And I mean, it's been working. Yeah, I just lose traction immediately. And try not to flip the tractor or break an axle, of course. Now, in this case, I gotta move over a bit. Oh, it's all overpowering my brakes. There, rolled okay. Got out of a little bit of a hole. Now I gotta move a bunch of shit because otherwise I won't get out of here. But it's working, just taking a sweet ass time. Well, within a minute, the tires leaked out all the air. And there's water in this one, as you can see by the bubbles. Huh. But these tires are shot. Like, look at the sidewall here. Look at the big split. They held air enough for me to push it and steer it in here, because it pushes okay when the tires are full. Oh yeah, this one's pretty much flat completely too. This one was almost off the rim. And this one holds air. And this one was holding air until I tried to put more air into it, and to find out it's loaded. And look at the rim. Can you guys see that? That's from it all leaking out, which tells me the rim is probably rotten. So I'll probably need rims, which those are 6 lug, I think, if I remember right, or were they 8s? They were something weird. 6 lug. Bet you those rims are not cheap to find. And even this guy here, you see the coloring around it, tells me the rim's probably going to be very thin. Now I got it somewhat in here, but I got to clear out the spot because now I need the loader to get those engines down. Well, I mean, I can technically wedge them down, but I got to be able to figure out and do some measuring if it'll fit, because they do have a longer oil pan, and that could run into an issue with the four-wheel drive shaft there and lining up the PTO shaft. So yeah, have to see what I can do, and I think I'll move my light down to this beam so it's directly above it. Well, I just went in for a coffee and did some parts searching, and yeah, I'm kind of thinking this guy's going to be best to turn into parts. I really don't think it's going to be cost effective to fix, because the tires and rims, like right there alone, like you can look, even these tires here, how cracked up they are. That's like horrible. But this guy's been sitting on flat tires for, you know, 20 years. So it makes sense why it's doing that. Like this one's holding air, and that one was holding air up until the time that I tried to put more air in it. The valve core completely shattered to the point that it cannot be changed without removing the tire. So these back tires, I mean, they're not too bad to replace. Just cheap Chinese tires, but you know something? I bought cheap Chinese tires, and less than a year later, they were starting to crack up and they were garbage. I'm kind of at the point now that if I'm going to fix something, I want tires that are going to last me 20 years. I don't want tires that are going to give me problems in a year or two. That's kind of why this guy still needs the tires. It's the front tire, same idea. It's playing peekaboo out the side here. And I did have that somewhat patched over, but it's only the one spot is cracking. If it sits flat, it's just going to crack like crazy. So on this guy now, I just got to search a few more items, you could say, because I might reverse it and make it into just a 4-wheel drive garden tractor. And if I do that, I got to see what the maximum speeds are in reverse. I got to do some research, you could say. So if I flip it around, which would be kind of a shame, really, to do that, I just want to see some different options I have. The other option I can have here is mount the motor a little bit further back and not care about keeping it original looking, just completely Frankenstein the machine, go different size wheels, and not really care too much. So I got a few different options, but if I want to try to keep it original looking, that's definitely going to cost a small fortune. What I mean by Frankensteining it, ATV tires kind of thing, because they're cheaper than tractor tires. Now up there, I have some tires that I go look and see what size they are. I also have set that should fit this, but I think that's the same size as the ones I need for that. So I got to go over some different options here. It's the rim that seems like they're going to be hard to find. Well, I got this set here, which are virtually brand spanking new, and they are 24 by 12 by 12, so they're a little bit wider and 1 inch bigger. So if I go 1 inch bigger with that, I got to do the calculation to know how much bigger I need for the rears to keep the 4x4 system happy. Well, because these are brand new, and they're on rims that aren't going to fit, but I wonder if I could get adapters, because these are brand new rims on there. Now, back in there somewhere, I can kind of see them. Right there will probably be a set of front rims that might possibly fit, because they are 8 inch. Maybe I got to dig them out and find out. Well, when I bought these tires 10 years ago, they were perfect without any dry cracks. Now they got dry cracks. And maybe it's because I'm just noticing it now that they're low on air, but you can see some dry cracks happening. They're definitely low on air, but there's some air like they're not, I don't know. They're 1.5 inches wider, so these are 18 by 8.5s by 8. 8.5 by 8s, okay. And these are 7 wide by 8s. Now, what was on this guy? Oh, note to self, don't twist ankle in hole that you just created. That hurts like a son of a witch. Okay, so these were 8.5 by 8s. Okay, so they could go in place of these guys. Okay. Yeah, so I'll put them on this tractor because they'll fit. Even though this tractor, technically, the tires aren't dry or cracking, I just got a split on the side and almost twisted my ankle on that guy again. Okay, so this did searching on Amazon and my local Princess Auto. Those tires, $200 a piece is about the cheapest I'm going to find anywhere by the looks of it. So I might pull them off the rim, see if I can maybe just change the valve stems. I got to check the quality of the rims. The back ones, well, I could replace with the 18, like the exact size of these guys are about $69 a piece, but these ones are only 7 wide. The problem with those guys, if I go anything bigger, they're probably going to rub like any wider, so pretty sure I'm going to be stuck with that exact size. These ones are totally shot. I mean, you can see the big tear across here from where it's at. You know, there's no saving those guys at all. Even with a tube in them, they might last a while, but look at the tread on these guys still. So this, again, this machine has low hours. I can't really see it now because it's foggy, but I think it was 1,100 hours if I remember right, and they blew up the engine. But that explains why there's a lot of tread on the tires. So, well, a fair bit of tread on them anyway. These, I don't know if they're the original ones or if they've been changed before. So what I'm going to do now is look online and find out what the factory size tires should be for this machine. Because maybe a wider tire on the back would be okay. But again, before I do much, I want to double check those rims are good because they're expensive to find used. And definitely it shows signs that that rim could already be leaking because it looks wet in spots. And if that's the case, that means when I pull that off the rim, it's going to be destroyed. Yeah. And I'll need to find new rims. That's going to be pricey. Yeah, I can already see, look how close it already is to that tie rod end with the tire being flat. So if I go anything wider, chances are it's going to rub. Okay, so I pulled off the tire, and yeah, sure enough, she's right full of junk. I pulled out the rest of the stem there, well, gave it a slight hit. All this here was crusted up so bad, like almost like that deep, but I gave it a couple whacks with a hammer. It's definitely thin here, and it's wet, but I think that's mostly from it leaking from here down onto there. Before I do anything with this tractor, I want to pull this tire off, and I want to know the shape of the inside of that rim, because if it's a rusty barnacle mess on there, I looked, these rims are definitely hard to find. Now, they are standard 6-bolt, and I might be able to switch them to some other 6-bolt rim, and it might not be that big of a deal, but we'll have to wait and see. Well, both the tires are definitely loaded. Now, look at this guy. You see how green this is? That's how the other one, that's how the other one looked before I opened it. Now, if I open this, I'm going to get sprayed, so I shouldn't have touched it with my eyes like that, because I know if I just touch it, it's going to leak everywhere. So that's one of those things that's extremely dangerous to open, you know, because it's going to shatter, and then it's going to leak everywhere. Now, technically, it doesn't have the most air in it, but I got to get both of these guys off the rims, because that one is somewhat low. But you can see it is leaking, and it's not good when the valve stem's corrode. That means the internal of the rims are probably going to be twice as bad. Got a block underneath it, 2 jack stands, differential and brakes are all working perfectly. And I kind of had a feeling they were full of water because come winter time I smacked one of the tires with the loader or with the snowblower, and it was rock solid. So that one stopped pissing already. No, it's pissing very slowly, not as fast as this one. That's weird. I mean, I seen people put 2-stroke oil in them before, but it is cloudy, so it's weird. But yeah, it definitely feels like water. I took a lighter to it, it doesn't burn. So definitely smells like water. I mean, if it's the same stuff that they put in tires normally, I mean, it's designed to leak, but it definitely has no odor, doesn't feel slimy. So yeah, and it would explain why it's so rusty. So I was just looking at that, and I realized something. These have tubes in them, I think. Huh. Because that hole's small, and it's not pushing back in. So I think these actually might have tubes in them. Huh. Well then, that's interesting. Because if there's tubes in them, they filled up the tubes, and maybe it's not so rusty. Huh. I mean, now water is technically going in between the tube and the rim. But I'm looking, I can't push those back in. They just kind of, it seems like a, I don't know, maybe there's tubes in there. It might end up being good then. Oh, that's a good sign. Yeah, that is awesome. Well, it took about 20 minutes, not even. Most of the time was just setting them up, but there's a big ball here, but I think that's when they weighed the tire. That rim doesn't really have it like that. But look at this, is that rust, or is that because they drilled it and they weighed it? So I'm going to have to chip at that and find out. But with this here, the way that is, I guess the only thing I can run is tubes on this guy. There's no way a tubeless stem is going to properly fit in there unless I drill it out and sand it up. But yeah, it might be fine running tubes. So But these tires are absolutely toast. You can see the tires are toast. And their borderline almost looks like they were in a fire because they are very brittle on the one side, which is weird. Same with that one. It's worse actually, but maybe I'll throw a tube in it, just temporary. Run low pressure just to test it. If everything goes well, buy some new tires. We'll see. Okay, so I got some tubes on order, even though it's a bad idea because these tires are this rotten. Like, look at this one. It's like, oh my god, so bad, these tires, like really hard. But the way I think of it, it's going to be a temporary thing. Now I thought about it, and I think there's room. I got some 26-inch big ass tires up there that I think I showed in my previous video that I might decide to pull those off and put them onto these rims. But I have a good feeling then I'm going to be very close to these lines, so because that's you know, these are 23s, that's 26, that's 1.5 inches of height difference. I gotta wait and see. Worst case, I might even throw on some Sears crappy tires on here. And that's the thing, I have been running worn out tires like this before on the Sears for years, and they haven't, you know, broke. And with the tube in here, like internally it seems pretty okay, but yeah, look at the cracks when I squeeze. Like, that is, like, look at it's just literally everywhere. And I don't know if that's going to chip off there or what's up with this, but definitely tube only. There's no way to put a tubeless, not without grinding the shit out of that, and it's kind of thinned out there. So yeah, temporary. I'm going to throw tube, put the same tires back on it. I got to say one thing, I definitely like that guy. I wish the weight was a little bit heavier underneath it because it kind of moves around, but should be good. And there's the old dirty old tube sitting there, and I'm glad they had tubes. But of course the valve stems were completely rotted because the guy filled it up with what I think is water. Well, I'm going to give this a little bit of a chippy chip and find out if that's what that's all about here, you could say. Well, whatever that stuff is, it literally came off. So that's not good. That's a chunk of metal. And that is freaking thick. Okay, well, I might have to do some repairs on these rims, because how thin is that really? Okay, well, I'm going to continue chewing at it. But I can actually fill this in with welds if I need to. But it makes sense. That's right where the valve stem was leaking. Water slowly drenching on that for the longest period of time. Yeah. Definitely tube is going back in it. Holy, the Temu ferry has been good this week. Yeah, some of those are reboxed with literally full of bags put into boxes. Yeah, the Temu Ford is growing. All stuff that I haven't looked at yet. That's over 100 orders. Not counting that bag, but the stuff underneath it, yes. And some stuff on the table. And a couple other boxes I haven't even opened yet. A bunch of random junk up there. And heavy box down there. And some tire tubes that I just got for the Ford tractor, but those came from Amazon. And today's going to get fairly hot out, so I better get these tubes installed before it's that hot. But yeah, I might have bought pretty much 150 orders worth of stuff off Temu. Yeah, I think last time I looked it was 146, and I placed quite a few more. A bunch of LED lights here that I'm going to be testing. So that one was about $50 is their retail price on it, but of course I paid like 10 bucks, not even. But yeah, lots of junk to go through. Okay, so where did I leave off last weekend? This guy. For some reason, I'm not looking forward to working on it. Like when I bought it. It is a lot of work. It's one of those projects that I bought strictly to do the local community center grass, and somehow some other people have been doing it. Again, I only had to cut half the lot once, and so I just picked up tire tubes. Yes, I'm going to put tire tubes with rotten rims in it, temporary, and rotten tires. Now the rims here, I'm not sure if I showed it, but there was a huge mass of rust on here that I was able to clean off. I still got to give them a quick cleaning. You can see some indents and big rust chunks here from where the tires were sitting, or the tube was sitting before, so I got to give this a quick cleaning. A big chunk of rust on there, but look at these tires. They are so dry, so cracked, that it's borderline going to be dangerous to put any kind of pressure in them. So the idea is to put in tubes anyway, and not put too much air in them, you could say. That way I could test out the drive system, test it out, be able to push it in and out of the workplace, because I still got to kick it out. All this dirt and sand, I had this pressure wash where it looked like brand new almost, but all that sand is from the winter when I snowblowed. So, and for some reason I don't remember this being as crushed up, but I didn't hit it, so it must have been like that before. We'll just go with that. And from Temu, I also picked up a crane that is going to mount from the top here, and it'll be able to swing this way above the door, take stuff off the truck, be able to swing, take stuff off the workbench. I got that sitting inside. It's a crane that one of these guys up there hooks up to, the winch. And I'm thinking I might not mount it on this pole. I was thinking the back pole there might be a better option, right where the fan is pretty much, because it should extend out enough to get to the, like here, and then I'll be able to drop stuff onto the workbench. Now, another option was to mount it right here. Now, I'm not going to be putting no 1,000 pounds that is rated for. I'm going to be using it for picking up these little tiny engines like this that are maybe 120, 150 pounds. That's going to be the most. But put in on this one here would allow me to put it onto this workbench and onto the back of the truck. So I got to decide. That's going to probably be another video. I also picked up a couple of replacement for these little guys here, MS200Ts, and the little guy up there, because maybe I could do a comparison between the Valver or whatever brand you want to call it, or the cheap Chinese one. So I bought quite a few little chainsaws, you could say. I got a few of them inside, but that's going to be separate little videos. But I think for now I'm going to bring these outside and start grinding away at this rust scale. Well, that's pretty rusty on this one. This is the second one. That one already has a colt on it here. And I went a little too thick, so I'm getting bubbles, but most of the time that's because it's contaminated. Maybe I should have brake cleaned it, washed it first, but you know, I'm not going to bother doing that. So this one here was actually the good one, and it still is pretty bad. You can see the pits are pretty bad on there. So, but for tubes, it should be fine. Well, now I gotta wait for paint to dry. Funnest thing ever, hey? So, only coated where it's needed. Still see a big chunk of rust stuck on there, but the black, where I only did the black, is pretty dry. The green is literally leaving fingerprints and sticky. So, but the black is pretty much dry on top. And yeah, just a quick job. I could have actually took time and sandblasted them, but doing that would have took longer. And look at this. Got to get that out of there. Otherwise my valve stem's not going to go in there. But yeah, this one here has some pretty good meat on it. And this one, a little thinner in some spots, but it's not too bad. But definitely, in my opinion, tube only rims now. And tires, well, they are just, yeah, that gets worse if I do this. Look at this. It's definitely going to be a temporary thing, putting tubes in those. And I got an oil leak already from all the hoses leaking. Well, it's been about 6 hours and I'm losing patience. So yeah, never use expired paint. It's still very tacky. And I mean, I say expired, but you know what it is. It's just leaving it outside in the sun. Very sticky. This looks so rough here. But right there's rust pitting. And yeah, still tacky. Well, I'm worried if I put the tube in here, the tube's going to fuse to the paint and make it almost impossible to switch later, because I don't want to spend another $40 or $45 on another 2 sets of tubes. I'd rather just be able to reuse the tubes again when I buy new tires, which will be once this machine is proven to be worth it. Yeah, it's definitely a good thing that I got tube in here. Look at this, eh? That's just extra air around the tube coming out of there, because the tube itself is inside there. But yeah, definitely needed a tube. Explains why it had one in there to start. Well, I got the front tires back on and attempted to get this one off, and now I know why the next year they changed it, because that's what I'm dealing with. You guys see what kind of bullshit that is? So I tried putting a few different items in there, and no luck using different pullers. So I had a 1-inch block of aluminum across here with 2 screws, but I'm going to have to get a center pin because I keep on stripping my bolts, but not the holes on the rim. So I got to bolt it and have a center screw kind of set up, because that's tight. That is very tight. So that sucks. But it's kind of interesting because the power steering started working now. See? Slowly, anyway. There. Now it's working pretty good. So still some hydraulic pressure being, you know, made in this thing. But I think I'm going to leave it at that, because I don't want to strip those out and not be able to get them off, because then I'm changing frickin' the tire without removing it, and that probably wouldn't be very much fun. But hey, I have done it before. Well, I don't have any way to pull off that tire right now, because clearly it's on there good. Again, I tried this aluminum block here, have the 2 holes drilled in it. This is where it landed. I'd have to have a threaded insert, because those 2 bolts, I tried tightening them slowly. Stripped the bolts, surprisingly never stripped the hub. So that's where I'm going to end it. Now I could drill this out, thread it. It's aluminum. It might be able to hold, hard to say. Well, I couldn't get off the other tire, and I did some redneck stuff to it, and believe it or not, it's holding air. So what I did is I took a screwdriver, scraped all around the bead, cleaned all the dirt out, and then I took that little acid brush there with grease, and I went around the bead all the way down on both ends, and seems to actually be holding air. And I sprayed it down with some water, but not soap, under the little misting bottle up there, and believe it or not, it doesn't seem to be leaking. So was it just a bead leak? Now this one I just pulled out the valve core, and this tire is definitely in worse shape. But again, this is only temporary, just to be able to push it in and out and be able to test it. But look at that guy. That wasn't a fire in my opinion, looking at how that's like burnt on that edge. But tubes in those guys, they're holding air overnight, so that's good. I got about 12 psi. The other one there, I got about 12 psi. And yeah, so this one I'm going to clean up and do the exact same thing. And again, the idea is just to make it where it's temporary enough to be able to move this guy in and out. Well, one tire held air, is holding air, and the 2 front ones. This one here held air for me to push it outside, and then immediately went flat. There's a hole in the sidewall, even though I fixed the bead, so that must be where that one was always leaking. The hole was from dry cracking and sitting just like that, flat. So just gave her a quick wash down, because I don't want it all full of dirt, and I left some there, damn it. I want it somewhat clean for when I work on it. So because every one of these lines, all those soft lines there, they all have to be changed, because they're all dry cracked. And hours on this machine, maybe now you guys can see it, possibly, but it has 1,000 hours on her, and that's kind of why I think it's worthwhile fixing. It broke years ago, so it has 1,038 hours on her. Not sure if that's showing up at all, but 1,038 hours. So 1038.5. So yeah, that's pretty low. But yeah, that tire's holding air at least. The other one definitely needs a tube. Now I could swap a tube without removing it. It's just going to, or install a tube without removing it. That's just going to be a nightmare. Well, it's now another weekend, and project for today is remove all the weeds. And I'm going to do that with the tractor, the diesel, and I'm going to trim this area, a line across here, pretty much right where my hand's going, up to there, for where the water drains. So a line across here, up to that door, do a U-ball, get rid of all these weeds, do the whole driveway. So I got to move every single thing here, which sucks, including the heavy shit. Be able to do a nice turn here. And I'm also thinking I'll do a trail around the garage while I'm at it, to try to get rid of some of this weeds. And I'm got to decide, do I want to use the 3-point blade, grater blade, which would probably be ideal, but I'm actually thinking I might try this guy. Believe it or not, I have not used this yet, besides the one time on the tractor, or on the quad, and it overheated the quad pretty quick, boiled her over. So I think I'll use this guy. Now it does have a hitch, which is probably seized. Now, what one of my tractors has a hitch? Definitely need a tractor with a hitch. Or I could just chain it up, I guess, but... Okay, so the Bolin's, I'm sure of it, does not have one. And I don't think the diesel has one. So I might have to switch some stuff around. Nope, but I could actually put one on here in a few minutes. But realistically, I don't want to overheat that guy. This overheated last time. This guy won't overheat. It gets hot, but I don't have a hitch on it. Oh, look at that. I do got a hitch ball. So yes, this is what I'll use. Okay, well, I got everything cut down. And the idea is pretty much everywhere I cut here to drag, to do the kind of like the bend like that. I'm going to leave this stuff and let that grow in. But I usually do this once a year. I'm going to try it first with no weight on it and see how that goes. Pretty sure I'm going to have to put a sidewalk block on it. Kind of wish I had chains on the tires still, but we'll see what happens. Ooh, that seat's hot. Yeah, I'm going to need to put weight on it almost for sure. I'll try without no weight, but I'm going to have to not hold the camera. It's going to take a while. Might have to put some more weight on her, but I'm in third gear low range right now. Second gear high range, couldn't do it. So third gear low range is a little bit better. But yeah, it's slowly. The idea is just to kill the weeds. And hopefully not kill the tractor, but you know, it's getting a little angry. Even though this is only minutes from my house, I barely ever come here. Maybe twice a year. So we've been here twice this year already. Maybe. But beautiful area. Where I hunt is just on the other side of that opening, or that in between the hills, you could say. But in the bush over there. Normally don't like shutting off the quad because she's getting a little bit old, but in this case it was idling. Everything's running good on it. A little ticky after going through the frickin' trails, but nice area. But you know, next year this will be very hidden. You won't be able to even see anything, hey? I mean, these leaves are just starting, trees are just starting to grow, so maybe. But be an awesome camping spot. The problem is too many people fly down here on their quads. Go down the hill. I'm not rescuing you. It's a freaking dirt bike track and deer trail. But what a beautiful area. And again, only minutes from my house. There's even a bench on that side. That's what I love about living in an off-road park. The only problem is, what was it, 8 years ago, move into this area and barely do any quadding anymore. It's like, move here and retire to quad. Yeah, but I gotta build myself a Volkswagen dune buggy or fix that. That would be nice, but oh, I got a sore back now. Let's just finish doing the yard with the tractor and decided, let's go straighten out my back on some trails. Great idea, hey? Well, I can definitely say it's better, but I mean, it's not perfect. But I did it all the way down to the front of the driveway, and ripped out most. Most of those will die now. Some of them, like right here, I never went across it so many times, so some of them got ripped out. But some of them look like they're, well, maybe they did get ripped out. No, some of them definitely are still on the ground. And I was going to go around, but never bothered, as it's way too solid, that ground. Well, I might have got some this stuff off Temu, and long story short is that guy is another one of those, and that one I paid $10 for. That is a crane, which is designed to take one of those electric winches. It's going to be mounted probably right up there to that center beam right by the door. Technically, it might not reach what I'm thinking, but I would like it to be able to put stuff onto the workbench, like those heavy diesel engines, and then swing this way and put it onto the back of a truck. The other spot I might mount it, I'm thinking, is right there. Yeah, because then it should be able to reach both workbenches to a point and also onto the back of a truck. That box right there, I think, is a hydraulic pop tester for injectors for diesel engines. That guy is a magnetic sweeper. That little box is an Arbor Press 1 ton. That is a small little mini 25cc chainsaw, which is the same as this guy here. This is a Chinese one here, and that's a Chinese one. I paid $114 for that, but then I got 50 back plus 30 back. So, and the same idea for this guy. This actually cost me about $20 more, and this one shipped directly from China, where that one shipped from BC, I think. The hydraulic pop tester cost me 20 bucks. The broom sweeper, I think, cost me 40 bucks. And the pop, I can't read. No, that was Arbor Press. Anyway, everything I got for less than a quarter of the price. Well, that's a lot heavier duty than I thought it was. The only problem is, it's going to be about 6 inches too short, that arm. So I had a few different ideas. Mounting it right up here, and the reason why is I could swing it this way, unload something off the truck, swing it this way, put something onto the workbench, like one of these guys. Right now, if I want to move this, I got to go get the loader, put the bucket in front, and slide it into the bucket. I got that lift right there, but it doesn't help me get stuff onto the workbench. Now, it would only come up to about 6 inches from the workbench, and that would be in that corner. So over here, it'd be almost 1.5 feet away. Well, Temu lights getting used. I got them. Hey, why did that one just turn on way over there? I got the camera light on, but wait, I can't see anything. There we go. Got a big braid ass corner one. I got one on the shit tanks over there. In the distance, I got 2 of them up here. Lights up the whole area, and they're cheap. They're like throwaway lights. So if someone decides that they want to, you know, knock them out, but you got to get pretty close for them to turn on. This one never turned on.
This one doesn't turn on either. I think they're just out of juice.
I doubt it. I mean, that's why we're trying to set them all to the same setting. Well, this one here does have trees right above it, so. Okay. Oh yeah, that one already shut off, hey? Well, this guy actually looks fairly decent. So this is for checking hydraulic injectors, pretty much. You can see watch your gauge and make sure they're opening at the exact same pressure. As an example, 3-cylinder diesel engine, you want to pop each injector and just make sure they're opening pretty much the exact same or within spec, because I have had some, you could say, lazy injectors that would open immediately when they were worn out. That would have been on the old, actually it would have been on that engine that came with that guy. So basically I had to replace the injectors, and when I bought that engine, it was, someone really tampered with it. The governor was disconnected internally, so it would run away. All kinds of weird problems. But that was the fork that goes on the governor. One of the rods were broken, and I figured all that out before I started it, because the guy told me what happened to him, and I knew pretty much what to look at. So yeah, this guy is going to be good for checking injectors. Now, I'm looking at these lines they sent with it. 2 different lines, 2 O-rings. But these are really rough. What I mean by that is, if I can actually find one. Yeah, maybe you guys can see the metal that's inside that flared coupler there. If I change it to 1 times, it should focus. Do you guys see the loose chunks of metal in there? And very, very rough. So yeah, I don't know what kind of flaring tool they were using there, but definitely not the nicest, you could say. But at the same time, if it works, I mean, it works. So this was normally, I think, just under $100. I can't remember the regular price, but again, I paid virtually nothing for it. And this little guy, little tiny 1-ton arbor press, that's pretty decent. Very, very thick grease across everything, and it's actually almost the same idea as what they got on this guy. Comes with 3 different little fittings there. Has the block here that could be adjusted, but my idea, I'm just going to use it for pretty much rivets, you could say, and whatever else I decide to use it for. Again, impulse buy. It was cheap. I mean, real cheap. I think it ended up being under $10. So another thing for that pop tester, as an example, of course I should have mentioned, is checking spray patterns. Because normally what I end up having to do is pull out the injectors, hook them up, and just let them spray up into the air. But, you know, that doesn't really tell you the exact pressure that they're opening at. Well, got a few more boxes to open here. I got 2 chainsaws and 1 more blower. And about 5 or 6 boxes inside that will probably be in a few more weeks before I get time to go through them. Oh, wait a minute. There's actually like 100 boxes inside. Yeah. Another thing I should mention is that magnet. If you look, you can see where the magnets are actually placed underneath it. But that guy worked good. I can't really see it, too much junk in the garbage, but I ran it just quickly across here. It picked up like 5 screws and so many bristles from a wire brush. So that's definitely worth having, and maybe I should have ran it through the yard before I tilled everything up. Or raked it, I guess, or, you know. Okay, I guess I'll get that other fan installed. Just the same as that one right there. And this one is probably going to go right up on top of there. Wow. I already went over the garage once or twice, and that is just crazy. Yeah, most of that's from when I shattered the cylinder off the Volkswagen engine. That's over there. Woo, where is it? Ah! Up there. Yep. Trying to use it with one hand and hold a magnet and keep my phone away from the magnet, but yeah, this guy works amazing. Sure. I just finished packing everything down. I just used the loader, drove around in circles in the dust. Now it's starting to rain. But the sky's blue, but it's still starting to rain. And just going over shit, cleaning it up. My original tool set that I bought when I was like 15, no, probably like 13 years old. Yeah, surprisingly, I'm missing the ratchet, extension, spark plug socket, and a weird one, 5/8. Huh. I mean, I probably have them somewhere, but at the same time, retiring that kit. So sooner or later, I'm going to get a proper toolbox out here, but this is a crappy enough set that is good to keep out here. All the good stuff I keep inside, of course. Well, I built some shelves because I ran out of room. You know why I ran out of room? Because of all this shit. Temu stuff. Literally boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes full of shit coming in weekly, including different water filters, all kinds of different stuff, paintbrushes. But basically, I've been filling up boxes slowly because everything, like, as an example, this one here is literally pure knives, the whole thing. Oh, wait, this ain't the pure knives one. This one's pure knives. This is the secondary knives and some power banks. But yeah, literally knives all the way down. All kinds of different knives that I'll probably do some kind of review video on sooner or later. Some pickaxe handles and stuff like that. But yeah, 99% of everything in here is all Temu stuff. Literally packed solid with all kinds of different things. And because, you know, I might have an addiction. Possibly. But these, I refilled these boxes, packed it up. Like this one here is full of nothing but titanium all the way to the top. Very heavy. And that kind of titanium. Mostly this brand right here. And, I mean, right here is just latest stuff I got. This is titanium cutting board. This is just, you know, pokey sticks. But all kinds of stuff. Those guys aren't titanium, but, or, from Temu, but this one's full of water pump, garden hoses, all kinds of crap, and, camping stuff. And believe it or not, I got 17 boxes here. That's not Temu stuff here. None of the stuff on the bottom. That box is somewhat filled with Temu stuff, but that stuff isn't. That stuff on the top is, but this is not even half of it. Yeah, there's boxes and boxes and boxes stacked in the garage with stuff and still in the other room. So yeah, I quickly threw the shelf together, realizing that I'm going to need a lot more shelves. Still organizing everything here. Lots to move around, and I'm getting this stuff for 10 cents on the dollar, roughly 10% of their normal retail price. Now, when I say normal retail price, certain items, like as an example here, what can I grab to show as an example? This guy, they might say this is worth $47, but I can buy it for 12 bucks. I'm paying $1. This package, same idea. I paid $1. Sandpaper, 50 cents. These paint rollers here, like 50 cents. So it's all because I'm multiplying promotions. I found one that you can do double up on the promotions, you could say. And I don't think it's meant to work that way. And it only works if you do it a certain way that involves a cell phone and a computer at the same time, and do it very quickly all together. So is it a glitch? Well, yeah, but they haven't really caught on to it, so I'm going to continue doing it, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm getting $130 orders for $5 or $10. I'm not joking. So I asked a girlfriend, do I just install another 16-channel unit, or do I install a 64-channel? This guy is going to be very loud with the huge fans in it. But I guess we'll have to see how much louder it's going to be versus the PoE switches. And again, this is a very pricey NVR unit. But at the same time, it would be nice not to have multiple NVR units and be able to shove everything into one. It's has dual power supply capabilities. Only comes with the one power supply. It has all these alarm inputs, alarm outputs, 2 VGA, 2 HDMI, and an eSATA port, dual network, and no built-in PoE, but that's fine because I got a 24-port PoE switch and a 16-port PoE switch currently. And that's all the hard drive bays. Again, this thing could take 8 hard drives, and I'm using just 4 of them right now, and 1 power supply for now. And if I add more, I'll probably get a second power supply. But they're hot swappable. This system could do RAID and a lot of cool features. So again, it's an NVR 508, which is the 5th series, you could say, and 8 hard drive and a 64 channel. So 64 cameras, up to 32 megapixels per camera can be plugged into this guy. That's a lot. And, I got a lot of alarm cables to move over. And other than that, what's good about going to non-PoE is my old existing unit will stay running at the same time as this one. Because most of my cameras will do the mainstream for 2 channels. Some of them will do up to 3, which means 3 NVR units. Substream I could also do on a separate NVR and record in standard definition if I want to, or 720p or 1080 depending on the camera. This thing has 2 big ass fans here, and that's 0.25 amp. No, I'm pretty sure that's 1.25 amp. So these are going to scream. And this guy is actually probably going to be the most noisiest fan right here. So 350 watt power supply for her. And I might cross-reference this guy and see if I could find another manufacturer that makes it. The reason why is it's probably cheaper than going through UniView for the power supply. So, well, actually, technically, yeah, I should be able to just do a search on that model number because it's not an actual direct UniView, but yeah, definitely will suck some power, hey? Well, that's definitely a lot of channels to add cameras. But at the same time, I got lots more cables to hook up. And these are all the new ones going out to the garage. And definitely, once the unit's here, another PoE switch, put some more of these plates back in. Battery backup's going to replace the ones at the bottom there. But wish I had more light in here. Got that Timu light up there, and not a hell of a lot for lights in here, that's for sure. And that is the unit there I was going to use, but decided to go straight to the 64 channel. And that definitely doesn't look nowhere near as good on a very small monitor. That's not 4K. That's the camera I got at the end of the driveway. Well, one of them. That's definitely not perfect, but I mean, temporary, that's going to work. Again, it's only for the backup cameras and test cameras. And works for now. Now, the next item to get outside is the Land Cruiser diesel engine. It has been sitting in here since I got the Land Cruiser with the pistons out and everything. Gotta get that guy out, but it's starting to get a lot more room. That's for sure.
Not to get my ass. I don't have any footage of this yet. Right here?
Yeah, that's good.
And how wide? Triple?
You see where this hole is in the tide?
Kind of.
So about like 18 inches wide.
So this is to plant the tree, and how deep?
Go like 2.5 feet.
That deep for a tree?
Maybe 2 feet.
This might be hard. Enough?
Yep.
It's all loosened up, and it's about 2 feet or 1.5 feet wide, so. And again, that's to plant the tree, so it's all loose underneath it.
Nice hole.
It works. And I thought these things were a joke, so I didn't get one. This is actually my dad's. And wow, is that going up fast. Kind of sucks that I'm parked there, but That's way faster than my normal 12-volt one that plugs into the cigarette lighter.
Well, it's now another weekend cleaning up the horde, and you can tell. Look how dead those trees are already. Well, got a lot of shit I want to go through. As you can see there, that's just some of it. But I got lots more. Wow, looks like the grass grew quite a bit since last week. The center pile right there, I still got to sort through that stuff. Started cleaning out over here. Looks like that stuff's dying well. I think I'm going to get a tagger torch and torch some of the grass back here, because it should kill stuff pretty quick. But this pile of metal here, most of that's going to go to the dump. Off camera, I went and brush cut it all back there. And I kind of want to keep a path behind everything. Maybe keep the rodents from, you know, making dens everywhere, but probably won't. Sort through this shit. That stand, I gotta cut that up. Old train track tie that I stole from the train tracks, kind of. Not quite. It was in the bush. Actually about 30 feet from the track, so I'm like, I might be able to use that for something one day. It was actually buried off the side of a quad trail, and only a tip sticking out, and I spent the time to dig it up because I was thinking someone's going to hurt themselves on that. But all these old tractor parts here, I don't know if I'm going to keep any of this. That stuff I'll keep, like the stuff for the racing tractor, but this stuff here, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I could keep this stuff forever, but I'm kind of at the point that I don't want to, don't need to. Got too many projects. So all the Sears stuff I'm tempted to sell. I think I'll probably keep maybe the loader, possibly, but if I could get enough money for everything, maybe I'll let it all go. But the thing is, I'm going to want someone to take everything, and that's going to be hard because someone's going to need a hell of a trailer or make multiple loads, and what they'll do is they'll take the stuff they want and probably never come back for the rest of it. Like this guy here, I only bought this because it came with, what did it come with? Not a plow. It came with, I think this snowblower that I ended up blowing the transmission up on. Nope, I think it came with that snowblower that has the C's transmission. It came with one of the tillers. Of course, it has a mower deck on it. Mostly because it has this guy here, which I'm not going to sell. That I'm going to keep because I still use that. Oh yeah, it also came with a 3-point blade, which is over there, that I'm going to keep. So, or maybe it didn't come with that blade. I think it only came with the blade that's over there. So those two attachments I'm going to keep. But wow, look at the weeds just growing like crazy. This tree, I randomly plucked out of my dad's yard, and somehow it's growing. I don't know how that got broken, but that's not growing. But the tip of it here is, so maybe that tree will come back one day. I doubt it, so yeah, we'll see. Not too worried about it, but you could kind of see the neighbor's trail way out there starting. So property line is pretty much right in there, probably at close to that tree right here. So I still got another, what I think is 10 feet that way, but I got to pretend that the property line is this tree just in case, because now there's no way for me to see the hydro pole anymore, and my flags are gone. And I ended up cutting more and more and more. So I got to pretend that, like I said, the property line is pretty much right there. So I don't want to clear any more stuff, but ideally I want to build another garage section here. But that's not going to be this year by the looks of it. I was kind of thinking of doing it this year. This is all the stuff that I still got to sort through. Decide what I'm going to keep. This trailer's a little bit floppy and loose. Got to go through all these tires here too. Decide which ones I'm going to keep. Which ones I'm not going to keep. But a lot of shit to get done. And definitely going to have to edit a lot of this video out, because I'm pretty sure I said a lot of this stuff multiple times. Well, I just noticed something.
Are these the same spindles that are on the Sears? Or not the Sears, the HT23? Because, I mean, this guy's perfect. Because on the big Bolins, I got a crack down the side. I don't know how long it's going to last with that crack. And for some odd reason, I thought I remembered this guy not having blades. So, I mean, the bearing's there. This one here is a little bit stiffer, but it just needs grease. So, that's interesting. I got to definitely look back at this pictures and stuff and see if these spindles are the same, because that might save me a huge hassle. This is from the 1600 Hydro, and same with that snowblower, and same with the other snowblower on it. So really, I mean, this deck is actually in pretty good shape, besides the lip being blown out right there, which is not that big of a deal. And needed one spindle shaft, I guess. I got some pulleys there, but well, for some reason I might look and see if I can find the rest of the parts for this, because maybe that would be a good use for that 1600 Hydro. Turn it back into a mower, because that guy needs bearings put on it, the big snowblower. But surprisingly, the bearings I have that it needs are those guys right there, which are brand new on that machine. Okay, so it's now rained like a son of a bitch, and I already know it. The dump's going to be a swampy son of a mess. But at the same time, it might not be that bad. But boy, did it ever rain. So, I just noticed when I got rid of the mini quad, for some reason, I ended up having 3 of these racks. So this one got left here, but this one's broken. It's completely rotted out, so I'll just bring that to the dump. Oh yeah, bracket's broken there and there, so that's why Dave must have replaced it at one time. So I don't know how they broke that. I'm gonna guess someone was sitting on it. But yeah, that could just go straight to the dump. Add it to the metal hoard. Lots of crap to get rid of. I don't know how much I'm going to get rid of today, but we'll see. Now, I could be keeping the aluminum and stuff and separating stuff. Like, that's a big, heavy chunk of aluminum. Now, technically, that's designed to fit onto an engine, to a water pump, but all my pumps are too big to fit on that plate, so I don't think I really have any, need for it. A lot of people outside quadding. Now, I was going to toss out this frame yesterday, and then I realized that that'd be stupid, because this is already spaced perfectly for the diesel engine that I have, and would make it a lot easier to mount into here. But I'm pretty sure my engine has to actually sit lower into the frame rails, so I'd have to actually modify by cutting out these covers. And I don't know if I want to do that yet, but maybe, because if I cut out the covers and fit that into place, it might work. So and that's for everything back here. It was raining a little bit, so I don't know how much I filmed, so got rid of a little bit of tracking stuff yesterday, but slowly going through everything here. Still lots to get done, but all the Sears stuff so far is here. I got 2 more Sears tractors and a bunch of attachments still to put back here. Well, wood's gone. That was one load. Kept 2 pieces out of there, but got all this shit to sort through still. And it wasn't that muddy at the dump, but sucks about those tires. Lots of tread left on them. And I was tempted to keep the rims, because, I got that tire machine right there. I can quickly pull them off. But 5 lug, they're not going to fit anything that I own, I don't think. So I think I'll let those guys go. Too small to fit on the Sears. Well, I mean, possibly, but just a rim design, I don't think I really have a use. And chances are they're rusty and beyond repairing or using, but who knows. Oh, I didn't even notice how scratched up my truck is. Yeah, I might have been down some ATV trails, like real tight trails yesterday. That's sap. Yeah. But final load going to the dump. I almost want to keep this. This is a muffler off the original Ford tractor, but it's cast iron. I attempted to loosen that, and then it's kind of loose, and that would take too much. And I'm like, yeah, I could just chop it, but I don't really need to worry about that. It's just standard pipe. But all the wheelchair stuff that I took time to pull off, it's all going to the dump. A couple old tires, old truck seat, and stuff I might regret later, but this is full of freaking copper heavy duty battery cables. Yeah, if I was still doing scrap metal, I'd probably keep it. But yeah, this is the only stuff that I decided to throw away because it's either short pieces or just meh. Trust me, I kept tons of it. So yeah. Well, this is probably going to be the last load for the general cleaning of the area, and after that I got wood to haul. Lots of wood.